Hello, my name is Esperanza. In English, my name means hope, but in Spanish, it means too many letters. And I'm going to be telling you about my story. We didn't always live on Mango Street. Before then, we lived many places. I've moved a great deal of my life, and I've always dreamed of living in a big house. Inside this house would be running water, real stairs. Not hallway stairs, but stairs inside like the houses on TV. We'd have a basement and 3 washrooms, so we'd never have to tell each other when we want to use the bathroom. Our house would be white with trees around it. It'd be big and grand, and this is the house that me and my familia would dream of for our whole lives. But it was just a fantasy, nothing more. And I'll be telling you about the home that I'll never belong to, 4006 Mango Street. The house was not what we imagined it would be. Me and my siblings all thought that it'd be big, but it was small and red with tight steps and front windows so small you think they're holding their breath. Along with my mother, who takes care of me at home, and my father that works all day. I am with my siblings Carlos, Kiki, and Nenny, who is the youngest, so I must take care of her. But she is my sister, so it is my responsibility. My very first friend, Kathy, was a girl whom I used to know. She was very close with me for a short amount of time, but eventually she ended up moving away because the more people that looked like me in my neighborhood, I guess her family didn't like. And eventually she moved further and further out. And soon thereafter, I met Rachel and Lucy. Now these 2 girls became my 2 true best friends. They stuck through with me through a lot of the hard times I've had as we became closer to being preteens. I've discovered a lot of things with these girls, and they mean a lot to me. The experiences I've had over the course of this year have been both exciting and terrifying. By the time I wore heels and started to seek attention, this was already the beginning of a great change for me. Because as my hips grew, so did the amount of tension I craved, and the mortifying experiences in which I had to undergo when that blessing became a curse. We traveled everywhere. We traveled to Old Man Gill's junk shop, and we traveled loose and fast, but not as fast as those Vargas kids. God bless Angel Vargas. The only reason that he left to live with God was because the community abandoned them. It's funny, from the outside of other people's different colors, they look at us as monsters. But are we proving them right? These days that I would spend at the canteen, a false heaven, with a greasy rice sandwich and a side of salty tears, was my very first experience there. Tears were always dried up with the loved ones. However, these experiences will never leave me. Maureen was a young woman that I knew who, like most females, was imprisoned to their house either by fear or by hope for change. Maureen daydreamed by her windowsill and told us stories of which boys would pursue her. One once said, "I'm in love with those 2 green apples you call eyes. Give them to me, why don't you?" She bathed in the attention that the men gave her. Her skirts got shorter and the men got braver. And this would be the beginning of the end for her. And it's really because men can believe they can do anything. They don't take anyone else's emotions in mind. When that man slammed his lips onto mine, the control I had left my heart. My heart grows wearier because my abuelito has passed. So I give a piece of my heart to my papa. She was so beautiful, but fate gave her an unlucky hand, and she died long and slow for everyone to see, but not for everyone to realize. Later, I met Sally, whose father beat her, so she ran to other men for escape. She was very pretty, and life punished her for it. She sank farther into the oblivion that is the woman's spirit. Why must we take so much punishment? And why is it still expected that we take care of everyone else? Never mind ourselves. The females of my neighborhood silently cry out for their key to pursue the passions of their life and wriggle free of the constricting society that chains them to their homes and cuts their wings. My love, my hips, my passion, and my skin is chained to Mango Street. Will I ever be able to leave? The atmosphere opens its mouth and savagely swallows whole all and erodes my sisterhood with a rinse and repeat cycle of physical abuse and a void lack of hope ever to leave. This is why I've reinforced my will to have my own house one day and to not make the same mistakes I've seen girls make that robs them of their future. In order to influence others, I have to become the heartbeat of the Chicana neighborhood I've grown up in, pulsing a vibrant crimson, the color of the Puerto Rico we use. She, Sally, sold herself selfishly, submissive, swimming, sea level in self-hatred, surrendering to sin, slipping in a pitch-black subconscious shadowy shelter in her mind, battered up black and blue, skin submerged. I can see that I've changed, I've grown. I'm learning to live and love in my skin more every day. Because it's Nenny's that dumb smile that takes me back to simpler times. She is symbolic of the innocence that I've lost and I've longed to have again. Her warm smile and Mama's soft, coily hair that smelled of bread take me back to a time when I didn't have hips. Rachel, Lucy, and I are going to grow up and have many laughs. After all, our possibilities are as fast as the clouds we count in the sky. I can't ever really leave Mango Street. Memories here are warm and bittersweet. My pencil expands in my wings, and things don't feel as heavy as they should. To the women, you don't let your Mango Street define who you are. We have to lift each other high into the clouds, because we're all we have. We are the engine that runs the world. I like to tell stories. I tell them inside my head, and I make a story for my life, for each step my brown shoe takes. I'll never forget that sad red house. It groaned and frowned for good reason. For my name is Esperanza. In English, my name means hope, and in Spanish, it's a beautiful name.